Yes, fight fans, we're back again with another video. This is Body and Mind Sports. Let's go. Okay, so this time round, I'm back again to Riyadh season, which just concluded this past weekend. The main event, I've already made a video about that between Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov in their 154 pounds bout for the WBA Super Championship belt. But boy oh boy was the undercard stacked for us hardcore boxing fans. The notable names, the first bout, heavyweight bout between Martin Bakole and, of course, Gerard Anderson. That was a very interesting fight, to tell you the truth. I really enjoyed Bakole's performance in that fight, but we'll talk about that later. The second fight was between Andy Ruiz and Big Baby Miller, and that was also in the heavyweight division. And then moving on to 140-pound division, an interesting bout, very fast-paced, action-packed bout between Rayo Valenzuela and Isaac Pitbull Cruz. So let's start off, and I'm going to start with the fight between Martin Bakole and Gerard Anderson. Let me just start by saying that Martin Bakole already has got a loss in his career, you know, and that was against Michael Hunter. That was against Michael Hunter, who actually managed to stop Bakole in a 10-round bout and stopped him by KO. Yeah, stopped him on his feet, basically. Stopped him on his feet in the 10th round, which was basically the last round. Stopped him in the last round, you know. But since then, Bakole has improved a lot, you know. Which leads me to say, now hold on. Yeah, like I was saying, since then, Bakole has improved a lot and has got some really impressive wins after that fight. One notable one was his 12th round bout between him and Tony Yoka. You know, boy oh boy. One thing I was really impressed with Bakole in his last fights, before the Anderson fight, was his jab since the Michael Hunter fight had improved massively. His punch variation has improved massively. His head movement has improved massively. His presence in the ring has improved massively. So you can blatantly tell that Martin Bakole has been spending a lot of time in the gym working on his craft, and it's paid off. Now, going to Big Baby Miller, his last bout was with Charles Martin, who was knocked out in this, believe the 6th or 7th round by Anthony Joshua. Charles Martin, he's a reasonably good fighter. I mean, when he does come to fight, you know, so you can't really take that away from him. He is who he is, you know. He's got his own, you know, tools in his arsenal, but he is a limited fighter. You know, he is a limited fighter, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I gotta say, boy oh boy, who was crazy, or maybe I don't want to say stupid, because I don't want to disrespect anybody. I don't know anyone to disrespect them. So I'll take that back. But who was crazy enough to advise Gerard Anderson to take this fight? I mean, in his last performance with Charles Martin, 12th round fight went all the way to the end. You know, he did drop Charles Martin in that fight, but he himself got wobbled, and Charles Martin almost caused an upset in that fight. You know, Gerald Anderson did show signs of fatigue in his bout with Charles Martin, but that fight actually showed me that Anderson is nowhere near the level of the top fighters. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't even put him top 10 at this particular moment. I don't think he can actually beat any, solid top 10 fighter, heavyweight fighter, i.e. Zhilei Zhang, Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, Tyson Fury. Should I go on? There's no way he can stand in the ring with them, and survive. Which actually surprised me because I rate Bakole very, very highly, and he has, especially after the rumors that had been circulating that he actually knocked out Usyk unbelievably, and who was it again? Yeah, Daniel Dubois in sparring. And I know a lot of people say you can't read too much into sparring, but for me, it gives you like a little glimpse, of how good a fighter is. And to knock down someone like Usyk, who's very, very elusive in sparring, I mean, I gotta give it to him. Enough respect to Martin Bakole, you know. But I do think since his loss to Michael Hunter, he has really, really, really improved a lot. And I noticed that he's got a very, very, very good jab. Also in the Tony Yoka fight, he showed good variation of punches, and also showed great durability and ring presence, which I knew he was going to bring into the Anderson fight. But who advised Anderson to take this fight, man? He's not ready for any top fight. He's definitely, I thought, was not ready for Martin Bakole. And the bookmakers were mad to have Bakole as an underdog in this fight, because even some casuals with good eyes for boxing skills can tell that Anderson had no chance against Bakole, because Bakole also, aside from the having a good jab and a good variation of punches, for a big guy, he can actually move quite a little, So he's not somebody whose feet is stuck in the mud. He's not a great. He doesn't have great movement. He doesn't have outstanding movement, but he has a decent. Yeah, he does have decent movement, which which will serve him good as a big guy. I mean, as a big guy anyway, you don't need to move a lot because you pack a lot of weight, you pack a lot of power, and also you carry a lot of strength. And in that light, I thought that that would really, really serve Bakole well in his bout with Gerard Anderson, and I predicted right again. Because Gerard Anderson, from the eye test, doesn't seem to be that durable of a fighter. He doesn't really handle punches very well, you can easily notice when he's hurt. easily notice when he's hurt, and it shows. It shows. He doesn't know how to hide when he's been hit and hurt. Doesn't know how to. You know. Um. So in my mind, I was thinking straight knockout, but I did not think that he would be able to knock him out in the early rounds. I thought maybe it would reach at least round 6 or 7 before the knockout came. Yeah, but Bakole actually knocked down Anderson in the first round. Anderson managed to reach the 5th round where he did finally get KO'd with, I believe, what was an uppercut or right hand, whichever one it was. But yeah, Anderson was not ready for this fight at all, you know, and he's got a lot of work to do, to tell you the truth, because in the fight he tried to stand toe to toe with Bakole, and I thought, whoa, big mistake here against a big unit like Bakole. I mean, if you looked at both of them, the size difference was just clear. Also, the punching power from round to round was also very clear who was the most effective, most powerful puncher, which was Bakole. And aside from that, Bakole also showed good head movement, slipping jabs from Anderson and punches. He also showed great durability because Anderson's punches, the ones that landed, were just bouncing off him like they were nothing, you know. Anderson in that fight should have used a lot more lateral movement. If he had gone back and watched Bakole versus Michael Hunter, I think he would have learned a lot from that fight, because that was what Hunter used to beat Bakole: lateral movement, slipping punches, and so forth. Yeah, but all in all, a great performance by Bakole. I just think Anderson is not ready. He's still got a long way to go before he faces a fighter of any caliber, a fighter of any good caliber in the heavyweight. Let's say anyone in the top 10. He's still got a long way to go. So a great win to Martin Bakole, and congratulations to Martin Bakole. You know, doing it for the Africans, yeah, and the British people. So yeah, very proud of Martin Bakole. But moving on to Big Baby Miller and Andy the Destroyer Ruiz, who knocked out AJ in their first bout. Andy Ruiz, since fighting who did he face off against? Yes, he fought Ortiz. Since his fight against Ortiz has had too much of a long layoff, so I knew that he was gonna be a bit rusty in this fight. How fit he was gonna be in the ring, I didn't know, because in his second bout with AJ, his fitness was ground zero, to tell you the truth. So he's not a very disciplined fighter, from what I feel, from what I feel and what I see. He doesn't seem to be a very disciplined fighter who takes his training seriously. So yeah, I would say, because in his fight with AJ, his second fight, which he lost, by unanimous decision, he came in way too heavy, way overweight, feet stuck in the mud, could not move at all. So I didn't know whether he was gonna come in like that against Big Baby Miller, you know. Yeah, but in his fight between Big Baby Miller and Andy Ruiz, Andy Ruiz, as usual, showed great hand speed, you know. But what was missing in that fight from Andy Ruiz was the jab. He wasn't jabbing that much, and I think that if he utilized the jab a bit more, he would have gave Baby Miller much more to think about. I mean, every punch Andy Ruiz was throwing was just big bombs, easy to read, loading up all the time, and although he was hitting the target, I can't say he didn't have success. He was hitting the target, you know. Um, Big Baby Miller did block a lot of them too, slipped a lot too, but Andy Ruiz was hitting the target and was having an effect on Big Baby Miller. But you wouldn't know because Big Baby Miller's style is just to come forward, you know, come forward, pressure, gas you out, you know. Um, which Ruiz did gas out. He did gas out, but I think it was just willpower that was just keeping him there. And you know, and he put and his conditioning from eye test was the best I've seen from Andy Ruiz since the Joshua bouts. Big Baby, on the other hand, he did not really impress me too much in this fight. I actually did think Andy Ruiz would win, but a draw was fair enough, even though round by round, I would say Baby Miller did enough to win the fight. But a draw for me was good enough. I mean, because it was a very close, grueling bout, and Ruiz netted most of the early rounds to his own favor. But yeah, man, great fight. They both came to fight. And Ruiz was fighting on the back foot. Big Baby Miller, as usual, pressuring. Pitter patter punches. Wasn't putting too much into his punches, so he wasn't loading up. But being a big man that weighs weighs almost 300 pounds, and I think he's actually 300 pounds, 300 pounds or more. I think I think he is over 300 pounds. But being a big guy like that, you don't have to put too much into your punches to have an effect on your opponents, and it showed in that fight. Yeah, but great fight. Congratulations to both fighters on their performances. Congratulations, especially to Andy Ruiz for coming out of his rut and actually facing somebody. Hopefully, from now, he will be more active in future. Big Baby Miller, on the other hand, after his disastrous performance against Daniel Dubois, congratulations for actually managing to get a draw. So, from there, I don't really have much more to say about this fight, but let's move on to our third bout, which I wanted to talk about. And this fight was in the 140-pound division between Valenzuela versus Pitbull Cruz. Yeah. Before the fight, I actually picked Pitbull Cruz to win. Really, because of his pressure, his consistent body punching, and the guy is just relentless, man. You know, what he put Gervonta Davis through. I don't know how Gervonta Davis withstood that. And I believe it was just Javante Davis's skill that carried him through. But in this fight, I was really, really impressed with Rayo Valenzuela. Used a lot of lateral movement. The shoulder roll came into play a lot, helped him to slip a lot of punches, and landed a lot of his own too, showing great punch variation going to the body and head. So through the course of the fight, I'll say um I'll say it was a wipeout, to tell you the truth, because Valenzuela coming in with I believe a 7-inch hand reach advantage over Ruiz. He was just, it's like he didn't really have to fight on the inside, but he did. Valenzuela being the kind of fighter he is, who likes to go inside and let off combinations, you know. And those combinations came into play, and boy, oh boy, were they hitting. They were hitting hard. There was that was some super hard punches, man. That boy can fight, Valenzuela, and I'm very happy to Valenzuela, because in his fight between him and Colbert, in their first fight, I actually thought Valenzuela won that fight, even though they gifted it to Colbert. But he did manage to come back and avenge that loss. But Ethan surprised me with Pitbull Cruz. I do believe Pitbull Cruz, if he added a jab to his arsenal, would be a much better fighter. I still think Pitbull Cruz is a good fighter, but Valenzuela, in this fight, showed me that he is a top boxer. Like I said before, utilized the shoulder roll a lot in this fight, and showed brilliant slipping ability. His ability to be able to evade and slip punches, for me, in this fight was phenomenal. And I think ultimately that was what won him the fight, because Pitbull Cruz, very, very active fighter, was throwing bombs, just bombs upon bombs upon bombs upon bombs. The difference was that Valenzuela's defense was so good, that Ruiz just wasn't landing. He just wasn't landing. For me, Valenzuela cleaned up majority of the rounds, and that should have never gone to a split decision. So, congratulations to Valenzuela on your bounce back. You're back on a winning streak, clear winning streak. Seem to be back to your former self. So yeah, congratulations, and I hope this leads to better opportunities in the future. I see that he's now calling for Ryan Garcia for a bout. So we'll keep our ears turned up and see where that goes. As for Pitbull Cruz, he needs to go back in the gym, work on his style, and possibly add a jab to it. Because I do believe that would help him massively, especially when he needs to close in and do his inside fighting. So yeah, that concludes today's video. And if you love what I do, please do subscribe, push that like button, and do share and comment. And I do really appreciate people commenting, because it actually shows that the viewers are actually engaging, with the channel. So yeah, do comment. And I'll just leave it there until the next video. I'll see you again. And this is Body and Mind Sports. Poop, poop. Bam.